Hi, Women in Sport WA. I am here with an international Olympic gold winner at the Los Angeles Olympics, Javelin thrower, Tessa Sanderson from the UK. Now, Tessa, before I go into the spiel about you, I have to tell you, because we're in Australia, that every time I say Tessa Sanderson, they're like, Tessa? Who are you talking about? So we're going to make sure at the end of this interview that these Aussies know all about you.
Hello and hello, Australia. I've been to Australia so many times, fabulous time. Had there Melbourne, Hobart, Perth, Adelaide, name it. I've been there. You're a long way, girlfriend, but a lovely country.
We are. Okay, little introduction about you, Tessa. We have something in common, Tessa. My birthday is the 14th of March.
Get away! Oh my God, that's incredible. You know what? I must remember next year, we must remind happy birthday to each other. I tell you one thing we don't have in common, you're not as old as me, girlfriend.
Yeah. So I'm not going to mention the year that's on my notes, but March 14th, that's our birthday, Tessa, forever.
Oh, I tell you what, I can't believe that the same date as mine. May you be lucky.
It's karma. It's intuition. Okay, Tessa, you are a former British javelin thrower and heptathlete, a 6-time Olympian in the javelin from 1976 to 1996. You won gold medal in 1984 for Great Britain, and in 1996. You became the second track and field athlete to compete in 6 Olympic Games internationally. That's not in the UK. Tessa, you were the first Black woman to have won an Olympic gold medal.
Yippee!
You have also won 3 Commonwealth golds?
Gold medals, yes.
Yeah. You've won a World Cup. And you were runner-up in the 1978 European Olympic Championships. Tessa Sanderson, you have made numerous television appearances, other than the ones at the Olympics and stuff. You were a news reporter when Sky News first came on the scene in 1989. You were appointed a member of the Order of the British Empire. And in 1985, New Year's honours raised to OBE. And later, you were made Commander of the British Empire.
That's a biggie one, the CBE.
That is pretty awesome. You have, hold on a second. You were on the board of Sport England from 1999 to 2005. And in 2009, you established the Tessa Sanderson Foundation, an academy based in Newham, outskirts of London, East London, is it?
Yeah, it's in East London, and that's where the Olympics was held, the 2012 Games.
Yes. And are you an ambassador for Adoption UK, or you just promote what they do?
No, I'm an ambassador for Adoption UK.
Yes, I thought you were. And you have 2 beautiful children who are twins. We'll talk about twins later because I have some interesting to tell you about. And you do the local park runs, Tessa. Is that with the foundation?
Yes. Everything like that, I work with the foundation,
And you are a model?
Yes, and that's strange. I started to pick that up about 2 years ago. And I love clothes, but we can talk about all that. But I did my first fashion show last year, and it was great. And I wore the most beautiful outfit for this. It's an Irish come Portugal designer called Umit Kutlev. Oh, girl, you want to see feathers galore. Fantastic. It was beautiful. Walking down with all these other models, they're a little bit tinier than wafier than me, but it was great.
Tessa Sanderson, it's clear to say you are a legend.
Ah, thank you. That word legend. Yes, I love it.
Okay, I will have been told to stop talking all the time. So I think we'll just start with the questions and let you at it, because I'm really looking forward to this.
Thank you. Yes, so am I.
Okay, first question. Tessa, how did you, a young Tessa Sanderson, take up the javelin?
Oh my God, that's going way back there, isn't it? You know, at about age 13, I threw a cricket ball 199 feet. Okay, now you know, since I've done all feet, that's like 60 meters at 13. And I thought my teacher was amazed, everybody was amazed. And she really thought, well, you know what, I've got some sort of skill here. So she introduced me to my first athletics club. And although I wanted to really sort of travel and see the world, because I came from a family that was, can we say, poor? They didn't have a lot of funds, everything like that. It was very difficult. Like even having school holidays was a problem, because my mom was a hairdresser, my dad was a sheet metal worker. So it was tough finding cash. So what my teacher did is that she introduced me to my athletics club. I found that in doing all the other sports, you know, as we're going to talk about in a moment, as a youngster, important to do all the other sport as well. And then at about the age 14, 15, I fell into the niche of javelin throwing. But the real reason why I really wanted to do athletics is because, as I said, we couldn't afford to travel a lot. My mum and dad came from Jamaica. I came from Jamaica at the age of 6, 7. And so I wanted to see the world. And the best way was when I got my first ticket to travel out of the area that I lived, which was the All England Schools, we call it. I just grabbed it because it cost me nothing. It cost my parents nothing. And everything just sailed up from there. But in saying so, it was really by accident, you know, because I threw so well. As my teacher said, I had a fast arm, which I think is very important. Yeah, boom, get that out there. It's very important.
I could have thrown the javelin, Tessa.
Yeah, when you launch that javelin, to make sure that, you know, it is right. And we just carried on from there. But listen, before I forget, something just came to mind. You know, when I competed in the first Commonwealth Games in 1974, it was in Auckland, New Zealand. Your girl, Petra Rivers, hello Petra, if you're still there, won from Australia.
Okay, hold on a second. I just got a bit confused there, because I was like, I don't remember any Irish throwing the javelin.
You're still throwing, you probably only just got there. Hello Petra, God forbid you're still alive. Yeah, but you won that competition and I finished 4th. And I hated it.
But that was the Commonwealth Games. Where was that one?
That was in Christchurch, New Zealand. And that was the strangest thing, because I came out and did whack. And I did a great throw. And then I put my arms up like that and said, yes, you know, that did it. And my toe was on the line. Oh, so no. I lost competition, and there was Petra Rivers, there was another girl from Australia, and there was Prue French and myself, but you know, she won, but that's okay, she can have that one.
Now I'm going to stick to the script first, because when you talk I have other questions in my head, so let's stick to the script and then I'll come back to some other ones afterwards. Okay. Yeah,
that's how I started. That, you know, as we're saying, it was by accident, surely, because I threw the ball and my teacher spotted my talent.
And how important are those teachers, Tessa?
Oh, do you know what? I've said to my twins even now, school is the most important part of your life, because not just about education, although the main part is about education. But if you're in sport and everything like that, your teacher, your PE teacher, if she's on song and they're doing their job and knowing that, you know, you're there to sort of recognize and help put them on the next ladder, if you can, that's a vital and crucial moment. Because my teacher now is still an important part of my life. She, for 40 odd 50 years, she's been there. But had she not spotted that talent, I probably would have been at grassroots level, just tottering about and just doing all these other stuff. But she took it, she nurtured it, she recognized it herself in school, and that helped me along the way.
Yeah. Now, I've interviewed another javelin thrower, Katherine Mitchell. So she won a Commonwealth gold in Brisbane a few years ago. And Katherine also said, I think she had the same coaches you had at one point. I don't know which one, but she says the same about her PE teacher.
Yeah. No, it's. I tell you what, Kath, it's so important when you have, if you're to have PE in schools as well. Kids must be active, because I feel, and I purposely know, that a healthy mind is a healthy body, and that's not just saying, because that goes through the whole of your life. When you wake up in the morning, if you feel like crap, if your body's a little bit better, your mind's more positive, then we're going into a good attitude for that day. If your body is physically good, that helps with exercise. That's helping keeping you healthy as well. You look at the food, even then, you don't have to look at 100% what you eat, but as long as you're burning some of the energy. And if your teachers in school are putting you through those sort of healthy, active, enjoyable exercises, they are doing their job right. So it's important for me, knowing that you have teachers who are supportive and who wants to do sport, as well as make sure that your education doesn't lag behind. And listen and nurture the things forward. Teachers are very, very important.
Now, Tessa, I have a few friends who, because I went to teacher college in Bedford, as I said earlier, they all say hi and think you're amazing, and I think 4 of them are still teaching.
Listen, I'm going to Bradford in October.
Bedford.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I know Bedford very well. Hello, all you guys, if you're listening in. Yeah. I used to send some of my athletes up there to compete, and I did a couple of my competitions there.
Yeah, I know. Right, back to the script, Tessa. Well, I think you just answered this one. Who was your most memorable role model?
Oh, it's strange. There was a young black girl called Sonia Lanniman. A lot of people may remember and maybe not, but she didn't really make a big international, but she made the Team GB. She was trying to get to the 1972 Olympic Games, but she didn't make it. But I saw her run at a local stadium in Wolverhampton. And when I saw her at an early age, of like 14, 15, I thought, oh, God, you know what? I'd love to do what she's doing. And so we became friends. And to this day, she's my friend. She came to my wedding and everything like that, although I've been married 11 years. But also people like Muhammad Ali and Mary Peters, who's now Dame Mary.
I remember. Where was Mary from Northern Ireland? Yeah, where is Mary from?
I spoke to Mary Peters only 2 weeks ago. She's 81 now, or 82nd. Wow. She became my team manager. She's a godsend lady, fabulous.
Yeah.
So people like Sonia, another black girl, which I thought, because I recognized her easily because she was black, I was black as such. Muhammad Ali, because he was all about that in the great. And of course, I loved seeing Mary Peters competing against Heidi Rosendahl and all that. And I thought, okay. And she too became a great friend of mine.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so awesome. Now, tell us all, and all these Aussies, about that golden moment in Los Angeles in 1984.
Wow, I tell you, I will never, ever forget that. And of course, many more, but 84 was just spectacular because I went out being 4th best on paper in the world for throwing the javelin. I had come back from injury and been out for 2 years, from 1981 till 83, because I ruptured my whole Achilles tendon. And so that threw me out for that time. But when I came back in 83, I survived that pace, hopping and limping about, but still went to some competitions. And then I knew that it was coming in 84. By then, my rival had come about, Fatima Whitbread. Oh, remember her? She was out there in Australia with your Sue Howland and all these people, put them all together. Yeah, right.
I told Brian, I said, I won't mention Fatima, but you brought it up, Tessa.
Yeah. But she was really, one of my biggest rival, and of course the world record holder Tina Lilek in Finland. So bring everything close. I'd qualified for the trials and went out to Los Angeles, and it was an absolute fabulous games. It was full of razzmatazz. It was the first games as America had done it. They had the relay where people like Muhammad Ali again was running with batons and all that. It was superb. We had the changes of the badges in the communal area, the accommodation, one to a room if you were like the little stars, you know, show off as we were. So I had my room on my own. But the competition itself, I knew was going to be very, very tough indeed. It was my toughest yet. And because Fatima, of course, she was billed more or less to win it, because she was a very strong and powerful girl. And she was a very good thrower. And Tina Lilek, of course, from Finland. So we got to the competition itself. And I tell you, as soon as it came out in the area, it was 69,500 people in that stadium. Why I remember that is because they said it when Daley Thompson, you guys know all about Daley too, was competing the same day. And so what it was, when we got out, honestly, the buzz, Karen, the buzz of people, and it's like being in a beehive, we get like this, and people shouting, come on, Tessa, the little English voice you could pick, come on, whoever, come on, whoever. But I kept my head like this and thought, oh God, come on, let's go, let's go. So walked down to the throwing area and got our little javelins, warm up and everything like that, and then put them back. They called for the competition to start, bang on, here goes. And then a couple of the girls threw, and then Fatima threw, and she ran up like this and gave a massive roar shout. It was a big one, trust me, a big roar. And it went out, and I thought, oh no, what's that? But it was a good throw, but I knew she could do better than that. And then another thrower threw, and then it was my turn. And I remember just going and picking up my javelin and wiping off the end a little bit. You know, some of you javelin throwers listening will know, wiped off any dirt, even if it was nothing. You want to make sure it was clean, that point. And so I came up and I stood there, and I was nervous as hell because my heart was beating like hell, and ran out. All I thought first was, please God, let it be right. And I ran out, remember technique, remember. I got to the end, leg down really fast, quickly, boom. Oh, my javelin was in a perfect position. Whack! It went out, and I thought, oh, watch it. It landed. A little bit went up like that, and I thought, oh no, it's not made a mark. But it did. 69.56. It was a new Olympic record. Wow. First round, first throw. So, yippee!
It was the first throw.
That first round, first throw. But you know what? It's really strange because you have 3 throws and then 3 throws, and altogether it's 6 throws. So if you make the best of 3, you get another 3. But I knew that Lilek, the world record holder, and Fats was good enough to beat that 69 because we'd all thrown over 70 before we got there. Okay. But it came, almost sweated it out to the last round. But then Fatima had gone by the wayside. She'd lost it. So, and I didn't regret that. And then Lilek came up to throw, and I knew she was danger, and she ran up like hell. Girl, I've never seen speed like it, and I'm fast on the runway, and she went bang and hit that javelin out there, and it went out 69.00. How much closer could that be? 56 centimeters. Well, I thought, yes, got you all. I won. This is my day. It's fantastic, and I love it.
So, like, Tessa, I'm just going to jump in there and go, when are you doing an audio book? Because that will be the best thing ever.
I tell you what, it's all unbelievable. Everybody keeps on saying, write my life story, write my life story, but there's so much that I've done since that as well. You know, yeah. I had a book that came out, Tessa My Life in Athletics, before that, but it went okay, but I don't think that people were up for writing sports books at the time because I had so much reviews at the times and that. But it's my life story could still be done. But for me, on those 84 games, when you stand on that middle podium, Karen, and you know that you've beaten and stuffed all the rest in the world for what has been happening, the feeling is just amazing, because you know that you've done it for your country. I've done it for Britain. I've done it for all my Jamaican sort of, you know, people over there, my family at home, and my coach, who I had to pay to get him out there. It was just an amazing feeling. And I'd beaten my British rival.
Yeah. And she never won an Olympic gold, Tessa, did she?
Yes, I do. I do have. Oh, I should have brought it down. I've got it. Yes, I still have.
No. Sorry, hold on a second. Fatima never won an Olympic gold.
No, she's never won an Olympic gold.
No. So you'll always have that.
I'm the only female athlete and male athlete ever in Britain to have won an Olympic throwing gold medal, and it's 37 years.
That's just amazing. I keep saying that to people. Yeah. Now, I don't know where to go after that, because I've just relived it and I was like,
foundation. Let's talk about the foundation.
Okay, hold on. Let me stick to my script first, Tess. I put a lot of
time. Stick to your script.
Yeah. Okay. Let me do this one first. Keep on the theme of the Olympics, and then we'll go on to the foundation, because I'm really interested to hear about that. One of the major things that was showcased at the Olympics was mental health. Okay, so outside the sports, outside of everything, and yes, they called it over here. I don't know if it was called over there. It was the gender games. But I think more than anything about that was when Simone Biles said, "Stop, no, I can't do it." It was mental health, you know, and the pressure on athletes, the abuse, sexual abuse, racial abuse, online abuse, and life after sports sometimes. Mentally, how do you cope? How does an athlete cope?
That is so tough, especially now that we've had lockdown and pandemic and everything like that. That's like added pressure. I think for me, if I was in that position right now and known that I had games coming up, once I'd heard like lockdown was happening and that, I would have to just first of all accept I'm going to be enclosed doing a lot of things, you know, that I probably would never do outdoors. A lot of that would have to be shut down. So in my mind, I'd have to really sort of get prepared for that. And getting prepared for that would mean try and do things that I would have to do, exercise, even if it's having to use my back wall and throw against the fence, you know, create a program for myself inside pertaining to my sport. I know you can't run as far if you're a sprinter, but for sure, for javelin throwing or field eventers, you can do something in your own home to try and alleviate that. I think for me also, it's a good thing that you can work with your family. You know, there's a lot of things where people think that, oh, they have to do it on their own. No, you don't, because that's the time when you can take to share so many things with your family. You can work with them. Even if you're an athlete, the time it may not have gone right in your training session, go inside and say to partner or your parents, you know what, that was rubbish, or blah, 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 instead of hugging it or just ringing up your coach and saying, oh, you know, that was really bad. Yeah, talk to people, talk to your family about it, talk to friends about it, enjoy it. Don't sit and just take everything on your mind. Now, when you come from a side with the abuse and sexual abuse and things like that was happening with Simone Biles and people like that, that to me is an utter disgrace and just really sad, because that's added pressure. And it doesn't surprise me that Biles, what happened in this Olympic Games, this happened, that she had to bow out, because mentally, her mental attitude was like zero. I mean, one would think, first of all, maybe she should not have gone to the games, but maybe that was a way of getting over all that she'd been through. She'd been carrying all that on her mind, and all through the court cases and things like that. the mental step to doing something, if your mind isn't totally astute to what you're doing, if your mind isn't, say, active friendly, more or less, you're not going to perform right. You're not going to have your everyday life. You're going properly. You're going to be going through this cloud where you don't know what to do. And that's why they have people set up that you can talk to. You can, put yourself into something that you are enjoying. Focus on positive things. You see, that will make your mind breathe again, tick again, and focus on yourself and what you need to do and what's making you happy.
And it's so interesting because I've heard two elite athletes here talk about it. Courtney Bruce, who's a diamond netballer, and Natasha Rigby, who's Perth Glory soccer captain. And they talk about the post-tournament blues and, the after that. And I can only imagine that some of those athletes who were come back here and then they have to have that 2-week lockdown, some of them had a camp up in Darwin, which seemed to be a little bit better because they could still go out in their balcony and see their athletes and had activities going on. But the ones who were left alone in a hotel room for 2 weeks, that must have been tough.
Oh, tougher than anything, because they couldn't have gone out there and trained properly. You couldn't have focused. Even when it comes to eating properly, you can't do that because your mind is elsewhere. It's not focusing on where you should be. And, there comes a time when you have to really look at that area that is making you feel like that. Face it. Just face it head on. What is it? Do not go into a corner. What is it that's making me feel like this? Why can't I do what I was doing before? Take out COVID, but why can't you? Face it. It's a hard thing. And in feeling your mind is just so clouded with everything else, you need to clear that. Otherwise, there's uncertainty. There's an unfeeling that you're not good enough when you are, because you've done it before. Whatever you've done before and you've been successful at, it proves that you are good enough. People, also psychological warfare that goes on out there. Jealousy, you've got to take that on board and just throw that out the window as well, because you know how good you are.
Psychological warfare, jealousy, social media, Tessa, it wasn't there in your day. Now these athletes have to deal with that.
That should break you. That can break you. I've had things said about me. Even after I won the game, somebody said you're black. Remember, you're black and you didn't win it for Britain, although you won it. You were born elsewhere. And those things, the shock of hearing those racist things and all those at the time shocked you, because you think, why are they saying that? But you know what? Those people are just hidden bullies. That's all they are. They haven't got the guts to come forward and say blah, blah, blah. But social media, when you're in a position that you know that you are top of your game, maybe even if you're not at the top of your game, you're enjoying things, there are jealousy and all this, and people will say things. Don't follow social media too much. People have got to air themselves somewhere, somehow or another. It's not a matter of ignoring it, it's just keeping your own positive mind and understanding that it's like toilet paper, it will get thrown away, you see. But social media, sometimes they can be really awful. And when you're in a bad mental state that you're feeling you're not yourself, that's when it all happens. But try and shut that down or close it down, and just get on with what you know.
Yeah. Tessa, that's so good. And to any athlete who is listening, I'm sure they'll really appreciate that. So thank you so much for that piece of advice. Now, and you know what? The next question was, what advice would you give young female athletes?
Well, I think there's a number of things, because in the days when I was competing, and even a couple of years after that, a lot of the female athletes used to think, oh, I don't want to do sport because you'll get big and bulky and not be feminine and all that. And that was utter rubbish, because one of the things I've always had first and foremost is that I'm a woman. I love being a woman. I feel all the attributes of a woman. I like wearing stockings. I like wearing short skirts, and I want to wear them. I like to put on a bit of slap.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, woman in sport, I like, we are unique, yeah. But the thing and also they wanted to go to do a lot of glam magazines and nothing else. But I think the advice I'd give to women is to young girls in sport is that don't be afraid to take up a sport. There's a fantastic pathway in doing sport, that can take you to another level, make you meet some wonderful people, some great friends. You get to find out about yourself. And one of the massive things sport can give you is having that confidence to sort of face out there what's going on. And even if you don't, I'm not talking about becoming an Olympic champion. I'm talking about being a people's people and finding where you are. And sport can give you that. So it's about being active. It's about also enjoying what you're doing. If it's not sport, if it's want to be a scientist, if you want to be, I don't know, a journalist, whatever, just enjoy what you're doing, but keep active.
Tessa, you're so amazing. Like the thing we were saying the other day, myself and my friends, like when you get into sport and you find a sport or a game or whatever that meets you or that you love, and you find like-minded people, and it's so hard being a woman or a girl in sport because, when you're going up through school, say if you're playing Gaelic football or soccer or rugby or whatever, and you love it, but it's only really you and one other, and eventually when you have that team or you find that team, you're around friends who all love sport and just want to talk about sport. Yeah. Every shape or size and, anything. We call it the everyday girl, that's
there are many people who just wants to find them to do sport. You've never seen so many people jogging now, wanting to exercise, wanting to do all sort of things because it's the healthiest thing in the world. If you treat it properly. And when you find a coach like I did with mine, it was one-on-one. He was like my second father. It was just truly amazing. My phone was just amazing. You see, so I think, don't be afraid of that. It's a joy to be a sportsman, a good sportsman.
Right. Tessa, you have an amazing foundation called the Tessa Sanderson Foundation, and it helps grassroots kids participate in sport, and it provides them pathways in Newham in London. Tell us more.
Well, the foundation was set up really because I wanted to unearth some talent. Sorry, I'll just turn this off. Phone, people.
That's okay.
Yeah, I wanted to there you go. Put this wretched thing down. I wanted to unearth some talent after I've left Sport England as vice chairman, and I knew the Olympic Games would be coming up. So our Prime Minister Boris Johnson called me to on one of the panels to be a board member of the Legacy Panel, 2012 Legacy Panel. That was to help bring the Olympics here, and it was fantastic setup. But I wanted to do that, so having successfully done that. Working through that up to that time, I went over to Newham Borough and spoke to the mayor, then mayor of Newham, and said, look, I'm sure there's a lot of talent over here that could probably unearth grassroots level to take up a lot more sport, or even to find a couple that participated in the games, which was coming up, which gave me several years. And so they assisted me in that. And what I did, I engaged some coaches, started off with athletics, because that was my background, specialized coaches who knew their job, knew how to work with young grassroots people from the age of 13, and knew their language, how they speak, watched them at school. And then I spread the sport out to all the Olympic sport and got coaches on board who were specializing in those sports. And then what I did, in order to do that, I had to do a lot of legwork, because I went into the schools, spoke to the teachers, all these sort of things. And then I did talent ID, which is very important. I took a couple of the coaches that I have, took them into the schools, let them set up a test where they could run off some of the kids or play the sport that they were doing and try and spot them. And from there, took them to the station or to the area or the club of what their sport was, and introduce them to the coaches of those clubs as well.
So so what you did, Tessa, was you went out all these grassroots areas that might have been skipped over, just fallen through the cracks, and you found these kids and you were like, right, here's your pathway, bang bang.
Absolutely. But you know what's with about grassroots, the only difficulties was because they weren't elite athletes, funding was dreadful. So I had to lean on a lot of people like, you know, the Sport England and those and other people outside, and they're like some sponsors say, give me a couple of quid so I can help these, which helped with physiotherapy, spikes while they were still in school, because I only dealt with them whilst they were still in education. The others can find their own way. So, and from there, I nurtured and nurtured. And luckily now, I had people like Asher Phillips, who just won an Olympic medal in the relay, running for Great Britain, and Amy Marin from disability, because of disability in that. She won in Beijing. She had a bronze medal for swimming. So it's given me a lot of pleasure. And a lot of other athletes, 6 of them has gone on to university from their education. And, you know, it's given me a lot of pleasure, but I mean, I've tapered down a lot now, mainly because I have a lot of media work and other PR work, and I want to be a bit more. I'm too tired.
That's because you have 2 kids.
But it's given me a lot of pleasure working with my grassroots. You see,
it is. I loved grassroots because it is. Yeah, it's about just helping kids find sport, and then you know.
Well, you have to, because, you know, if my teacher, as I say, wasn't there at 13, and my family and close and my coach, I don't know whether I would have been here at this moment, you know, in this position, mainly because, but they nurtured that, and it needs
what is that? It takes a village.
Yeah, too old. No, it's all great.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, so look, so I suppose the next one was, and then we'll finish up, because I've probably kept you longer than sorry, Carol, I've kept her longer than half an hour.
That's all right. Let's go off, Karen, because you're from Ireland too, and I love Ireland.
I know, and Carol probably knew that was never going to happen.
In Dublin, Ballymena, you name it. I had one of my best throws over in Antrim.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
what distance was that?
I beat the world record holder the first time in one of the European Championships of Great Britain, Ruth Fuchs.
Oh my God. I'm going to Google that person. Now, how do we keep, like, all right, Tessa, getting the kids into sport is one thing. And especially, so we all know over here, I don't know what it's like in the UK, but, you know, 12, 13-year-old girls drop out of sport at the round 10, 13, you know, so 1 in 2 girls drop out of sport. So getting them into sport is one thing, and getting them participating. How do we keep those girls in sport?
Well, you have to keep the sport interesting, you see, and sometimes when you're a thrower, for instance, it's not just going out there every day, oh, let's go javelin throw. There's more interesting things you can do. And I think at that age, the diversity of sport as well, opening it up to other sports that they can do. It's not just that pathway, just keep every day, oh, I've got to go and train at that, I've got to go. No, because that makes it monotonous. It makes it a little bit boring. Bring in some of the excitement of it as well. You know, show them that it is fun in what they're doing. It's not every day bashing your head. With your school, what are you doing in schoolwork? It's taking on other things as well. One thing I would advise is what I did when I was younger. People say things like, oh, you've got to drink milk every day. Stop that. No, I never had to do that. I would eat apple pies if I have to. right? I'd go
Yeah.
out and socialize now and then with some of my girlfriends. So, and go to the movies. But I would look at things outside of my sport as well, but keep focus on my sport in the sense that it's not just everything. It's not the be all and end all of the world. Just enjoy it. And then those girls, when they come back to train, trust me, girls, when you come back to train, when you come back to the freshness of wanting to train, you want to do that. Don't block out your friends. Don't block out the outside world. Do things. But when you come to your sport, focus on it. When you finish training, go home, do other things with your family, chat, enjoy. That's what you've got to do.
Yeah, yeah. That's great advice once again. Tessa, did you have a TV show by any chance?
No, but I'm looking for one right now, actually.
Okay.
I'm Paddington, UK. So the thing is, Australia, I'll be over there doing something with you. My friends have been. And no, I'm seriously looking to do one where it's holding just a lifestyle show now. So we're in the process of Carol and me trying to do one.
Oh my God. If I knew anyone in media in the UK, I'd help, but I don't.
Thank you. Hey, if they can do one over the line in Australia, I'm there.
Okay, well, I'll remember that because, over the line is where it's at, Tessa.
I've been busy doing a lot of things here, though, in the sense like a TV, and like you're saying, I've finished the Sky, but I've just did GB News. It's all these slots and sland. I went on the ship, came back, talked about athletics, had to do that. It's not even just sport. It's just taking the papers, taking them apart. Oh, what are they doing? Whatever. So, yes, I'm ready for the chat show.
You are so ready. And I'd so watch it. Okay. Tessa, this is how I'm going to finish up because this is quite cute, right? I went on social media to a group over here, Facebook group called Palms in Perth. And I told them that I was interviewing you, and the comments that came back were beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Everybody was like, Tessa's so amazing. She came into my school when I was a kid. I'll never forget Tessa. She presented me. One was like, she presented me with my certificate. Another guy said that you had the same doctor, which was really interesting. So I think that was his claim to fame. But it was just quite beautiful, actually, the comments that people said, you're right up there with Daly. They're right up there with Daly.
Oh, thank them all so much. That's so kind of them, but I do enjoy the schools. The last one I had was up in Bristol, and I had from year 2, believe it, right up to year 6. And it was an amazing day. So I did a bit of throwing, I did a bit of motivational talk. Black History Month is coming up. I'll have lots of that to talk about.
That's good to know. Anyway, those teachers of mine would love to have you in their schools in the UK. I said my teacher friends would love to have you come into their schools in the UK.
Yeah, fly out. Well, in the UK, send it into Carol. It might be possible. Be possible.
I'll let them know. Now, I think I'm going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much. That was amazing.
You. It's been marvelous. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's listening to Karen all over the world, not just Australia, and where you say Bedford, hello Bedford again, all over the UK. Thank you. This has been delightful. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah. And you know what? I think we might have to do a regular slot, Tessa, once quarterly.
Yeah, I tell you, that's a good idea, because what the Commonwealth Games is coming up next year. I commented and I presented for Smile Jamaica when the 2012 was on. So all those sort of thing.
You have all that stuff. And Tessa, women in sport is just taking off. It's just
women in sport. Listen, one thing, women, you must remember, not just in sport, we are unique. Don't ever forget that.
You get a gold medal for inspiration.
Thank you. And you know, I've got a great group. One of the times we will talk, and it's just all women. There's about
okay. Next time I do chat to you, I have to ask you about Muhammad Ali, because I saw that photo on your Instagram the other day and I was like, oh my God, I didn't know she met Muhammad Ali.
Anyway, I have to go now. Bye bye.
Yeah, okay, hold on. Now, before you go, we'll just thank you from Women in Sport WA. Stay there, Tessa. I have to get my selfie. Thank you. And thank you, Carol, for organising it. And you know, you're just amazing. We love you. And we've got these Aussies on board now. We'll make sure they know all about you.
Thank you, Karen, so much. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Bye bye.